Hello everyone. Welcome to the In the Zone podcast. My name is Paul Oguda. I'm a head of tech at Zone 01. With me in the studio, I have two of my colleagues. Maybe I'll have them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Kennedy Odhiambo Ada. I'm a full stack developer at Zone 01 Kisumu, majorly focused on backend.
Hello everyone, my name is Sheila Fana, a software developer at Zone 01 Kisumu with a focus on UI and UX design, and passionate about AI and mentorship.
Thank you. So, from your introduction, you mentioned you're a full stack developer. You've mentioned you're a software developer. There are some of us who refer to them as software engineer. So, what's the difference? Software developer, software engineer.
Okay, so I would think an engineer is someone focused on bringing a solution. Yeah, so they'll actually design. They have to have the expertise on designing the problem and then implementing a solution to it. And I would say a software developer is someone who can be put in a team and then they are assigned the tasks and they really know how to solve the defined problems with code. Yes, that's how I would differentiate them.
So, Fana, you?
My understanding of a software engineer is someone who has the foundational knowledge. They know how the software works, why they should use a particular thing to solve a problem, the kind of languages they would use to solve that problem. So they have like the understanding of what to use. A software developer, someone who knows the language well and can actually solve a problem using a particular set of the language.
Thanks. So another thing is right now we are in this age of AI, but there's a lot of advancement taking place. So how does it affect the way you do, the way you work? Maybe before just answering that, you can tell us what you typically do in your day as a full stack developer, you as a UI UX. So how does AI affect how you work?
Okay, so for me, being a full stack dev, majorly focused on backend, what I do is actually, like for example with Go, I configure my server and then give it maybe its dependencies like its loggers. So my focus would be to write the routes and maybe even developing an API, write the endpoints and how they'll handle the requests methods that are coming. Like for example, if it's to get a resource, then I would also write how the database, the schema, and all the what would I call it? The entities that will be in the database and their attributes. Yeah. So just writing a full logic for how, for example, an API and the routes it would provide, and then also to look at the front end a bit. Yeah, I can fire up maybe a React front end and then try to use fetch. Though nowadays you can do that with Postman and some of the tools to interact with the endpoints. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what I would say is when it comes to the UI and UX part, then I can only put a boilerplate to see if the data is coming. Then
That's why you have Fana here.
Yeah.
So maybe Fana, tell us more about what you do.
As a UI UX designer, my work is creating what you see when you interact with a software product. The pages fits our website, how you will interact with the website. The buttons you will see, like how things will be placed on the website. That's my work. I also have to do research to see if what I'm designing will be usable by people out there. Yeah, learning colors.
So maybe talking about colors, would you care to explain to our audience? I think most of us, we use these solutions, but we don't know what color, what is the impact of color?
Color is very important. It depends on the message you want to convey about your product or the website. For example, you've seen most food websites, they use orange. There's something about orange that makes it appealing for food. If you want to make people trust your website, use colors like blue or purple. Yes, you just have to know what kind of message you want to convey across, and then the right colors will come along. Yes.
Okay, and maybe let's talk about Facebook. Facebook has this blue. Something like TikTok has black. Something like LinkedIn has blue. I think Twitter also has. It's called X these days. Yeah, it has black. Would you give us what you think is happening in those?
I would say for LinkedIn, they want you to trust them, trust that it's a professional space. So when you go to look for a job there, they think you should trust that you will find the right jobs there, meet the right connections that will accelerate your career. Yeah, I think because blue is a symbol for trust. So they want you to trust them when you use their platforms. Mm.
And black, I think for TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, they use black these days. Though X was initially blue. Yeah, what do you think happened? Like, what is X trying to communicate?
Not really a user of X. Black mostly is used in the dark mode. Uh, hmm. I know that most people who use black are for people who are more experienced, like maybe in the tech space. Okay. Because most of the products that they make for developers, you mostly find that they are black. I think it's for people who are experienced in that area.
Because I've actually seen there's a lot of guys going towards black. I think I remember reading black is something stability. If you look at banks, they have this, black. Okay, cool. So maybe the next question, in terms of the tools, what tools do you use? Let's say if I come to your computer, what are some of the tools you have which you use in your day-to-day?
Okay, so first, I use VS Code a lot because it's a free tool and it has a lot of extensions uh, like for prettier, which would help you write your code in a pretty formatted way. Also, I use Postman. It's one of the best known tools for sending. Like, you don't need a front end, but if you want to design the scheme of how you will hand over to the front end guy that these are the endpoints, these are the data that are being if you hit this, you design that documentation. Yeah, Postman is good for that. Also, with there is Chrome, the Chrome profiles, there is Chrome Dev, which you can download separately from the main Chrome app. Yeah, it's also, if you go to the developer tools, it has a lot of the browser APIs, like even the local storage, IndexedDB. You can play with placing maybe session storage, JWT there. Yeah, and also for people doing React, there is React Dev Tools. Yeah, these tools, you can know how to do things, but if you pair with these tools, they actually help you. Like, instead of going through line by line looking at where something is not displaying in the DOM, just inspecting it with the DOM inspector on Chrome Dev will help you identify the issue faster.
Okay. Fana, what are your go-to tools?
The first tools I have is a pen and paper. Actually, I use a notebook to draw out the designs of the website and the apps because it's an interface. It's what you see. So I use a pen and a book. I also use Figma a lot because that's the tool you use to design, to draw those designs. And there you can also find other people's works who have already done similar things. So you use them for inspiration. Also use Behance and Dribble to go and look for inspiration. You see, maybe you want to make an e-commerce site, so you go there and then you Google, and then you find designs that are already existing. So it gives you an idea of how it's supposed to look like so that you don't have to start from scratch. Use them as inspiration. And also going through other websites, existing websites and apps that have been created so that you see the standards that people are putting in place. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So maybe this is in terms of development. I think there's this saying where they say you'll spend a lot of time reading code than writing. So they normally ask us to write the best code ever. Because think of a situation where if you work for a company, you'll actually, when you're working to solve a problem, you'll be reading the code and trying to make some changes to it. So how do you think that impact on how you write code? Are there things you focus on when you're writing code based on that aspect where you'll spend most of the time reading code than writing code?
Okay, so first is to define the problem. Like even when I go to look at the code that was already implemented to do a problem, is to really grasp what is the problem, because they say that if you've already defined the problem, then you are already a far off percentage in solving it. So understanding the problem, then it will help you like breaking it down into very small units that can be solved separately. Yeah, so that when I'm now reading a code, or maybe I'm looking at a JSX page, I can start seeing like this button could have been made into a component so it can be reused somewhere else. Same way with writing a Go backend. You find marshalling a JSON. If you just write your code, you'll find there are a lot of reusable things you would have refactored into one function that you can just call, and it reduce the code overload. Yeah. Also, the tools like recently we were introduced to tools like SonarQube, Linters. Yeah, having those also in your IDE, they help you. Like with SonarQube, it will highlight once you write a logic of a code until it passes a certain amount of lines, it will highlight and say the cognitive overload of this function is high. Maybe consider refactoring it into reusable functions. Yeah, so just always trying to look at how the code is solving the problem, and then read the comments to get, even if it was another programmer who did it, to see how they were thinking when doing it. And always having that eye of if it can be broken down into smaller reusable components to reduce its complexity.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe for Fana, I think there's a time where if you looked at websites, they looked almost similar. I know in terms of you as a designer, do you have, how do you differentiate yourself from other people? I know you've mentioned you look at Behance and all that. And I believe you have a case where when you look at a certain design, it starts giving you a certain way of thinking. Would you consider yourself, do you like work like the rest, or do you have something that makes you different?
Actually try to put myself in the shoes of the person who's going to use my site. What do they want to be there? Like, I try to interact with it and see if this will make it easy for them to use it or if it will make it harder. So based off of that, I try to design it in a way that's going to be simple for that person to use, because can have a very nice design but not user friendly. So that will drive people away from your website or the application. And at the end of the day, the companies want to make money from that site. So sometimes you can trade off between making something that's very flashy, very beautiful, versus it being usable. Yeah, so I usually aim for simplicity and usability first. Yes. Mm.
Okay, cool. So maybe another question is for Kennedy, you as a backend developer, how do you interact with a UI UX person? Do you think there are areas where I think for me, being someone full stack, I've always been, attracted to knowing what happens in the UI UX space. In as much as sometimes I think most backend developers, we consider UI UX not that complex, but maybe she'll talk about that. But according to you, what do you think? Do you feel as a backend developer, is there a reason to know some parts of UI UX? And if there is, what are some of the things you're trying to learn? Yeah.
Okay, so it's always vital to be some kind of a jack of all trades. Yeah, where you can know just enough so that you are not, because okay, when working, and I know I've worked with my colleagues, there are things she will come and tell me, okay, this backend, I think the logic would have, because she has also done some of the Go programming before she went to, yeah. So also just having interest in your other peers niche so that you can do things. There is this thing called pair programming, where you take your fellow programmer, they sit next to you, and you define the problem. Then you try, you are the one on the keyboard, and as you are writing the logic, they can tell you, there, I don't think it will work. And yeah, same way I can go sit with her and maybe about color theory. Maybe you have yellow here and then purple there. Then we would maybe let's try blue transitioning to green, because those ones blend well together. Yeah, so it's always good to know more of the, because you'll be working in a team either way. Yeah, and you'll need to combine both expertise. Rather, you provide a better product, because she can call me now, okay, the data you served up is coming correctly, but now come and use the website. You tell me if you would use it as now a complete user. And I think I can offer more insight based on that.
Okay, maybe for Fana, there are people who say UI UX is simple. What do you have to say about that?
But for me, I wouldn't say it's simple. It's harder for me.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, you can say that it's just drawing things. It's much more than that, because for example, when you come across a client who like doesn't even have a clue of what they want their site to look like, they've just told you, you design a landing page for me. It's up to me to go and to do all that research about their company, everything they'd like to be in the site. I have to go look for the colors, the content, how to. That's quite challenging. And then you present it to them, they send you back, you have to repeat. I think there's a time I did like 5 different versions of a landing page before we could find something that the client agrees on. Because it needs to really be what they want. And unless they want it, you'll always have to go back and iterate and repeat. Yes. So it's not that easy. I mean, it could be easy if they give you the requirements up front and like they are set on what they want, then it could be easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also just understanding the importance of UI UX, I believe it's something that can cost you, whether you're converting a client or not. It's some of the things which come in handy. Okay, so maybe on the next question, I know there's a lot of uncertainty right now, you know. So this one is, you don't have to be right because no one is right about the future. So I want you to tell me in the next 10 years, what do you want to become? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? You talk about not just yourself personally, but even the industry. You can be imaginative as you want.
Okay. So with the AI, okay, I don't want to be certain about things. Yeah, sometimes things turn up to be a bubble, sometimes things turn up to be the stepping stone toward the next era. Yeah, so I kind of see where AI is this very helpful agent, but it's like your pair person who you, like your co-pilot who you are driving together with. And so I see for anyone resisting or maybe then just focus on getting this as a tool. Yeah, because it's not only enhancing the tech field, it's enhancing a lot of places. But in terms of job security, I don't think I'm fearful because, okay, maybe the people providing the solution want to cut off as much jobs as possible. But in an economy, if you reduce spending power, then I don't think even the rich person will start feeling maybe I'm giving products and people are jobless, they can't purchase those. So I think it's just about upskilling and know, knowing exactly when to transition so that you have the skill set that is required at that moment. Yeah, and I think most people will figure that out. Yeah, so I just see, I don't see a doom, or I think if you are just smart enough, you'll be okay. Yes.
And Fana, in the next 10 years, how do you see yourself and maybe the career you're working on?
I think AI is really out there. We'd use it to help me accelerate like my career. I want to evolve from designing websites and apps to designing products now. Yes, so maybe transition into the field of robotics and now start to design the robots too that would do that. And in AI will actually, if we know how to harness its power, we can actually use it to help us to become better. We actually use it like an aid, an assistant, to do the repetitive tasks so that you can focus on the creative work. You can just tell it to design these frames, but you're the one who's telling it how to design so that you can work on other things there. Yeah, and we should not be scared that it's going to take our jobs, right? If we like just embrace it instead of chasing it away, I think it will really, it will help.
Will help.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other comment on that? Or
Yeah, so I'll just say use it, but don't rely on it. And when you are learning, don't think maybe because someone can use it faster and what that it will deprive you of the chances. Just focus on the learning, and then you can now use it to augment your ability. But where I see myself in the next 10 years, I would say, yeah, I see myself working on products.
because I think for her, she has she has an escape plan. She'll go towards product, something like this chair, this seat. She wants to be able to design that. So you, what do you want to go into in case? Yeah.
Okay, I don't think that this won't work. I've invested much time on this. I just see myself securing a job, and being in teams that design and launch and ship products. Yeah, and how it will pan out, I'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe this last question is just out there. So for instance, I'm sure most of you have tried to access government websites, and I don't know, what do you notice as a developer? I want to get your perspective as a developer. What would you improve on the government websites based on your interaction with one or two websites you've had? And maybe Fana, as a designer, what do you think could be improved based on your interaction with the different websites you've had?
Okay. With websites, I think in Kenya it's always, especially the government, they are always too slow to adapt the new technologies. Yeah, but I've seen also that trend shifting. Like just a few years ago, I was attached at the AG's office. The website that was there was like okay, somebody who maybe was practicing to code had done it. But then in the team that was redesigning the website, yeah, they did a good job. And then also like the user experience, like you want a service, there's been times where you find you want to do the KRA, but then since all of us wait for last minute, then you go, now you get the service is so much requested that you can't, on that D-Day, then you will actually have to pay the fine because everyone is doing it at that time. Yeah, so maybe government can, okay, like I know Kenya now, people are getting into tech, and so they can try and offer this to, instead of outsourcing, to have local devs do the job. Yeah, and then maybe upscale on their hardware, like the servers, to always make sure the uptime is efficient for the users. Yes.
Okay, I think based on also in the same line of thought, I think Safaricom, we normally have these complaints. Oh, Safaricom, this is happening. So assuming you are to design the Safaricom itself, what could you improve so that it never fails? It's always online. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect you to answer it because based on the context and everything, I just want you to see, to see what are your thoughts in terms of, because I know it's the same case where you're watching football and you're saying, oh, this guy should have done A, B, and C. So I'm putting you in that position. Safaricom is playing. What could you have done to make Safaricom robust? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this, I think Safaricom is a leader in the industry and always sets the pace. Maybe what I would do is their rates, they are always like what they do, like they offer a package, and then you find okay, this is the package I can use daily. You use it, you buy it a few times, then you find now they've removed it. And they replace
That
it
one is
with
not,
something.
I wanted the technical.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
okay, the technical aspect.
If you were to improve M-Pesa, the system itself,
If,
how would you have done it?
it's, I think Safaricom mostly they are advanced.
I think it's okay if you don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I would say okay. I'm trying to think of an area where Safaricom is lagging behind, but I see they provide a digital Visa card. They've integrated PayPal. They handle their money payments so well. Yeah, maybe just I think on the tech aspect, they, I can't think of.
Because I think there's a lot of techies out there who have opinions where I think we've had some delays, I think recently and all that. So I think it was something that I felt, though I saw recently a video that shows the stack of Safaricom. Maybe next time we can dig deeper into it and start discussing. Yeah, so maybe Fana, now in terms of design, what do you think can be improved on the government websites? Mhm.
First of all, how they collect the data. When you want to like register for something, you find this big form with so many fields to fill, and then you're just exhausted when you just look at it. So maybe they could break down those forms into small pieces so that people can they can follow along in an easier way so that they don't get exhausted when they just see the form. Because most of the times when like recently I went to the KRA job portal that was trying to register. I saw that form and I just closed that website. It was too much. So they could simplify that, and a little design wouldn't hurt to put a bit of color to the site, make the font a bit bigger. Yeah, because you can just open a site and you see like there was no CSS in this site at all, like there was no styling whatsoever. So maybe they just do a little bit of style, but I've seen some improvements in the eCitizen portal. They've done a lovely job there. Yeah, so maybe if they update these other websites to do the same, especially the KRA website, yeah, they should improve that.
I think the reason I'm asking this was I think recently, over the past few months, in the US, we had Trump start this design system for America. And the UK has their own design system where all the government websites follow a certain rule. In terms of, if you look at any website, it will be almost the same as the other one. So do you think we should start doing something similar to that?
Yes, yes, I think we should, so that people don't get confused, and so that because these are sensitive services that are being offered, and some of them involve paying money. So if they follow a same standard like consistency in color, font, design, people won't get lost and they won't be scammed, because there's people who also create like similar dupe websites and then you get scammed. So if they follow that standard, it will be easy for people. Yeah, and they might not get scammed. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Anyway, one last, I want you guys to give us your final thoughts from the full stack developer. Just advise someone who wants to get into full stack developing. What are some of the things they need to know?
Okay, so to get into full stack development, HTTP would be fundamental. Yeah, learn HTTP, the protocol, why it's efficient, the kind of request objects, response objects, clients, servers. Yeah, then once you understand that, start understanding why there is the backend side and why there is the presentation layer and the front end side. Yeah, then the technologies that efficiently solve this, like for the front end, JavaScript is the kingpin of that. Then also just learn the basics, and then you will understand why JavaScript makes it dynamic, and then you'll go to frameworks that now handle a lot of the complexities so that you build fast. Yeah, and the backend, just have your okay, first switch from Windows to Ubuntu, or if you are not able to, get WSL and then start just being on a Linux environment, because Linux is, I had a joke where somebody says that Windows is the most used, but then the guy didn't know that Linux is in servers, is in cars, is in mobile phones and all that. So get a Linux so that you can actually get to know how servers work, command line applications, and setting up those services, microservices. Yes. and always practice daily.
Okay. Fana, what would you advise someone?
Getting into
UI
UI
UX, yeah.
They should first have patience. I think that's important, and empathy too, because you need to understand the people you are designing these products for. They should also know that there's going to be a lot of research when you get into this, because UX user experience is mostly research. Yeah, and you need to go out there, do interviews, come analyze that what you've been given by the people you're trying to design for. Yeah, research. You should also learn about color. That's important. How to place things. You know. Yeah. Learn Figma. There's lots of tutorials online about this. Yes, so you can just go to YouTube, and then I'm sure there's always a video for it. Yeah, and learn Figma or Adobe design. Yeah, if you have the money for Adobe Studio. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for coming to this podcast. So for the audience, until next time, bye, and keep and start learning.